Elon Musk seems terrified of it. He talks about how it's writing beautiful poetry and all this stuff, but he's not an artist. So, but I don't know. I hope it brick walls at some point, but I don't know. It's I don't know what I want. I don't know what I think of it. The thing that scares me the most is that I doubt it'll be used for the way it should be used. Like, I think AI should literally be free to everybody, and it should be used to enrich our lives exponentially. But I'm sure it'll be used in the inverse. It'll be used to watch our taxes, to make sure we pay every dime we owe. It'll be used to, to make sure we're like everything. It'll be used to track everything. It'll be used to watch everything, because a single AI bot can do more than 1,000 humans can do when it comes to clerical work.
Yeah,
right?
But the problem.
So why would you have
that right now is that you have to check its work all the time.
Right now.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that that's going to go away. I think there's fundamental problems with the idea that you can replicate consciousness using computation. I don't think you can.
You're probably right there.
The AI doesn't understand jokes. It can't write jokes unless you ask it for a very simple joke.
Yeah.
But it doesn't understand jokes. Although they can now tell you what the joke is, but they're not good at writing jokes still. And they still hallucinate. They still will tell you stuff that is just complete and utter bollocks. And when you say that's complete and utter bollocks back to the AI, it apologises profusely and says, yes, I was wrong, and then it spouts out another load of bollocks. There's nothing there. There isn't anything there that has any even memory. They're working on the idea of memory for AIs, and you might think, well, why is it difficult to have memory? My computer's got memory. Well, it's because every time the AI makes any pronunciation, every time the AI gives you a result, that's incredibly expensive in computing time. We're getting it for free right now, but it's not going to be free forever, because it's incredibly expensive in terms of CPU cycles and GPU cycles and all the rest of it. So when you ask the AI to remember what was said yesterday in a thread that's 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 words long, it has to reinterpret all of that again. It doesn't have a consciousness that is remembering the important things that a consciousness would remember. It's only got, at best, it's got a hard drive with that document on it, and every time you ask it something about that, it's got to reiterate its examination of that. And because it hallucinates, it can come to a completely different conclusion about what was said.
Yeah.
And the best AIs now, the ones that are appearing in papers rather than being released to the public, they're testing them with like 30,000 words, and they're putting a phrase somewhere in the 30,000 words, and they're asking the AI to find it, and not all of them find it. It's very difficult for them to keep a grip of a huge amount of text and be able to interpret it differently the way that we do.
Yeah.
So there could be structural failings to the AI that mean that it'll never do the kind of things that you and I can imagine it doing.
True.
Especially when it inhabits a robot body. And it could be a sex slave, or it could be a butler, or it could be a drive your car, or whatever it is it's doing. Whatever these fantasies are that people have about AI and robots and all of that. It might be that's a long, long way off. I think people think it's just around the corner, but I don't think it is. I think it's further away than that, because it'll only take 1 or 2 fatalities at the hands of AI for the whole thing to go belly up. I mean, self-driving cars have been implicated in accidents, but it turns out that the accidents weren't their fault. I think that's what they've concluded. So self-driving cars are okay, whether they're with an electric engine or a combustion engine, it won't really matter. But compared to most of the things that human beings do, navigating down a busy road is a simple task compared with, operating on an eyeball, or taking somebody's spleen out, or whatever it is you've got to do, where any slight variation is life-threatening.
Oh, yeah.
And if somebody like, for example, an AI doctor gives somebody the wrong advice or fails to spot something, it'll only take a couple of those, and people will just abandon it.
Well, what scares me, though, I mean, I shouldn't say scare me, but the reality is, I mean, in my experience, human doctors are probably already worse than ChatGPT. I'd rather trust it over my own doctors, because...
Well, yeah, but until it kills you, and then it's...
Well, Well, I mean...
Yeah, because you expect a doctor, if you're growing up, you expect a doctor to have the failings that a human being has got. That's why you do your own research and blah, blah, blah. But if we're in the age of the AI and the AI says, oh yeah, take this pill. I found this pill for you on Amazon, because Amazon's getting into pharmaceuticals now. I found this pill for you on Amazon. Take 4 of those. You'll feel great. And you take 4 of them and you feel terrible.
Yeah.
Or you die. Or your cat dies because of advice you've got from an AI. Or your dog, something happens. And that happens to enough people. You know, you hear it from other people. I took that, or I gave that pill to my dog and my dog died. The AI said it would be fine. Okay. It doesn't take much. And I think that's what the likes of Google and all the rest of them are afraid of, because they know that if they implement it in mission critical things the way it is now, it will fail. Like they would never put an AI in charge of an aeroplane.
And I do get that. It's like I just know, like, I remember Elon Musk talking about self-driving cars, and they were talking about all the failings they've had, like accidents and fender benders they've had. And he was trying to show them how statistically, even if self-driving cars kills a person a year, it's probably saved 1 million people.
Yeah.
That you can't even quantify, right? And I don't want to, this is the part about my comment about doctors is, like, I don't know how much I've ever talked to you about Sterling. Like, you know about my son, that he died shortly after he was born, right?
Yeah.
And it was like 3 or 4 huge oversights made by multiple doctors.
Yeah.
In a short period of time, that, like, I have a feeling that even if I was given the document, like if I was shown, like, for example, my wife went in for an ultrasound and the technician found my wife had placenta previa, which is a fairly serious condition. It's not a big deal if you take the right steps, but you have to know you have it to do the right thing. And the technician didn't mention it, and she put it in a report, and she sent it to my wife's doctor, and my wife's doctor didn't read the whole report. So never caught that. And that was the beginning of why Sterling died. Like, that was the error that led to another error that led to another error.
Yeah.
And I believe that if ChatGTP had read that report, it would have been like, ding, 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 you have placenta previa. Your wife needs to be bedridden. She needs to quit her job right now.
Yeah.
And everything will be okay. And I'm not trying to, like, turn it around to, like, make this like, well, I've experienced a situation.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, when I was talking in the abstract there, but you've got direct experience of it. But yes, we all have that kind of direct experience of health. Yeah, of people letting you down. Yes, so you're quite right. I mean, it might be that they do the Elon Musk thing and they say, well, yeah, it did kill that person, but it saved all these people, and that might be acceptable. Yes, you're quite right. I was thinking of it more from the point of view of it's not replacing a person, it's giving you some advice that's wrong, you know, outside of replacing a person. But I think you're right. You could make the case that self-drive. In fact, I've long been an advocate of self-driving cars, although I don't drive. I went on Radio Scotland one time to argue the case for AI driving, and I said it'll be safer than people, you know. And I was the only one. This was about 10 years ago. I was the only one because they were thinking of limiting speed by satellite, effectively GPS speed limiters on every car, so that the car could not break the speed limit. And people were arguing, but sometimes I need to break the speed limit. And my point was, you know, if something else takes over control of your car, statistically speaking, yes, there might be that one person in 100 who's running from a serial killer and can't get his car to go fast enough, but speed kills, you know. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it's going to be a complex question going forward, and I don't know exactly how it's going to go. It's difficult to imagine.
It is.
I started off, I think, as a huge kind of like blue sky kind of, well, this will be great, we'll all have our own personal AI and it will be fantastic, and you know, this will be the dawn of a new era, and where we don't need politicians because the AI will make all the sensible decisions and it'll understand the universe better than we do, and blah blah blah. And now I'm thinking, well, there are AIs that are going to be ours. There's already one you can get. There's 2 you can get. One's got a kind of a what is it, a pendant with a built-in,
yep, I've seen that guy,
projector, can't remember what it's called. And there's one that's a little button, it's just a button and a microphone and a speaker, and it's $99 and a subscription of $19. I looked at it, it wasn't suitable for anything I would do. But it'll record every conversation you have, and it'll record people who consent. So you'll meet someone and you'll say, are you okay if the AI listens? And they'll say yes. And that's enough for the AI to know that you've consented, so it'll record your voice as well. But if it doesn't get consent, it just garbles your voice, garbles the non-consenting voice. And, that could change everything. If you've got a constant recollection, not an audio file, but a text file that the AI can interpret, and you can say, what was it? What was that Ali and I were arguing about yesterday? Who was right there? And the AI will say, I'm not designed to take sides in domestic arguments. Fuck that, just tell me who got it right. It might, that sort of thing might change things for us, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Well, legislation's going to come in, the politicians are going to catch up eventually, and they'll start writing silly fucking rules for everybody.
Well, I know the Canadian government has announced something like $6 billion in AI spending, that they're investing in AI technology, but they're not being open about what they're doing with it, and they're actively criticizing any opposing parties who are using AI as well. So the typical, like, you're a racist while you're being super racist yourself,